Happy New Year! Welcome to 2025. This is Sports Pizza, and my name is Edwin Onyebolise. I'm excited. I hope you are excited. 2025 will bring us a lot of joy, happiness, promotion, increase, you name it. All your heart desires, you get it in 2025. I will promise to give you a fantastic show in 2025. Top-notch analysis, information, education, and plenty of entertainment. Once again, welcome to 2025. Once again, this is the best sports show you can get anywhere on the planet, Sports Pizza. And of course, with me in 2025 is Abe David. I'll be bringing him on board, but first, you know how we do it. We'll go on a short break, catch our breath, adjust our belts, fasten our seat belts. When we return, we get the ball rolling. Don't change the channel. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. This is Sports Pizza. David, Happy New Year. Good to see you, 2025.
Happy New Year to you. It's a pleasure to be here as always. I mean, we are here again in the new year. I'm ready to go for a fantastic year. I'm echoing all your prayers, for everyone out there as well.
Yeah. So, at the start of each year, we have resolutions.
Yeah.
I stopped having resolutions some years back because I think the first few weeks, I just break.
Yeah,
I break it.
No.
Do you have resolutions for 2025?
I've stopped calling them resolutions for a long time, but I think I just enter into a new year and feel, okay, this is what I want to do in the new year.
Yeah.
And, tagging them resolutions, you will find it easy to easily lose it along the way. I've seen, so many resolutions that we've had over the years, and with first 2 weeks of the year, they are all done and dusted. But I just set out each new year to achieve things, and I take them up as they go. All
right, David, what are your expectations in 2025 from a sporting perspective? Arsenal to win the Premier League?
It's not expected. It's a prayer point at this point in time. I'm not expecting it. But generally for Nigeria, our sporting outlook in 2025, late last year, we saw the president actually make changes to the Sporting Federation, turned it to the National Sports Commission, making Shehu Diko the DG. Hopefully we see changes, a positive chart for Nigerian sports. All
right, we ended 2024 with the year in perspective from a sporting angle. It's a two-part series, like I said, and we're wrapping up that series today. It is the first 2025. Yes, we are here, but hey, we need to wrap up 2024.
Yeah.
And we started with the English Premier League in review 2024. Highs and lows. Manchester City once again. 4 consecutive Premier League titles. What a year it was. Yes, they ended the year badly.
Yeah,
but 2024 was a success for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Pep Guardiola and his boys, they did some really remarkable things. They will have a lot of positives to take from. I think that's one of the positives they are going to try to channel to actually claw back, this disadvantage they find themselves in. But I think for them, fantastic year, 4 titles in a row, and a historic achievement. I think a long time before that kind of achievement will ever be done in the Premier League again.
For Arsenal, they were so close, yet so far away.
I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan for over 20 years. I've seen so many of these, and I think it's not painful at this point. It's just disappointment. That's just the general way to look at it.
And for Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp waved goodbye to the club. 8 years at the club. Premier League title, Champions League title, domestic cups, multiple Champions League finals. Would you say it was a resounding success, or he did just okay?
I mean, judging from where they were before he got to the club and where they are after, I mean, I think he rebuilt the culture of the club. He rebuilt the image of the club. Liverpool went from being, at a point they were a banter club in the early 2000s, getting to the maybe mid-2000s. But I think he got to the club and it transformed. I felt from the beginning it was a marriage made in heaven. A manager who had that energy meets in that club. But they just gelled, and unfortunately it ended when it ended. But I think it was a fantastic time for both.
And for Liverpool still, a new manager has come in and is doing a fantastic job. Arne Slot feels like there's a new spirit, a new vibe in the team. 2025 is looking good, but 2024 was a good one for Liverpool. For Chelsea, disappointing end to the season, but they ended 2024 really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
really good.
for everything that they went through, they had to go through a lot of turmoil. But I think Enzo Maresca came in and he looked through the turmoil there and he tried to sift out, and bring out the diamonds from the rough that they created for him. And I think that's why the outlook is looking positive for them.
For Manchester United, Erik ten Hag ended the season with the FA Cup title. Many, including myself, Edwin, felt he shouldn't have been given a contract extension. But hey, the new owners, not the new owners per se, but new part owners of the club, led by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, decided to go against better judgment. Kept him on, fired him, and got Ruben Amorim. 2024 for Manchester United, like in the past decade, is a year where you can look and say, oh, this is a chaotic club.
Yeah, there's still a lot of chaos, a lot of clouds hanging around the club. Hopefully, there are some silver linings across the border, hopefully, with Ruben Amorim coming in with his backroom staff. And I think Jim Ratcliffe also he's trying his best to make some decision behind the scene. The Ten Hag decision would still feel like a major stick to beating because it looked like a pivotal decision. If he had made it when it was supposed to have been made, probably they would have started the rebuild earlier and built into it. But hey, there's no too late time. They did it when they needed to do it, and now he's gone. Amorim is in. Hopefully, the future looks bright for them.
Talking about the future, David, we have some teams who are punching above their weight. Yeah. Nottingham Forest in and amongst the European places. We saw Aston Villa qualify for the Champions League. Yeah. They are trying to qualify for the round of 16 in the Champions League. Yeah. What a year it was for the Premier League. Let's run through some of the best players in the league. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through the best players or the best player in each position in the Premier League. Now, for the goalkeeper, who are you going for?
I think for me, it has to be David Raya. I think the year he has had. Look at the way he came into Arsenal. He was supposed to, come in, and there was a lot of storm when he came because he's trying to replace a player who had become a fan's favorite, and most of the fans were not happy. But I think he allowed his performances to shut out all the noise, and there's a reason why, heading into this season, he became #1, won the Golden Glove in back-to-back seasons, and also is now Spanish #1 goalkeeper. I think he has had a fantastic year.
Best defender?
So for me, it's William Saliba. I know a lot of Liverpool fans will mention Virgil van Dijk, but I think Virgil van Dijk is the inevitable. We know what it's about. But for Saliba and continuing his age, I think I'm just looking at everything he has achieved in 2024. I mean, he went into the Euros as well, and he was not even looking like he was going to be a regular, and he became a starter for the team throughout their run to the competition. And I think for him, it looked like the future is even brighter with what he's going to achieve.
From there, we'll go to the midfield. Who's your pick? Best midfielder in 2024 English Premier League?
For me, it's really painful to say. There's a lump in my throat about to say, but it's Cole Palmer for me. I think for me, he has had a fantastic
Really?
Yeah.
Phil Foden?
I mean,
you're going to put him as a forward or best
yeah,
player?
I'll put him as
the
a
best
forward.
player. So now you set yourself up.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. So make a case for Cole Palmer.
Yes, so for Cole Palmer, as a midfielder, look at when he came into Chelsea, the chaos that Chelsea was all about. He felt like the only calm, the calm in that storm at Chelsea, and his performances belied what was going on around him. The numbers, and also the performances. It looked like Man City are biting their fingers, actually letting him go.
Best forward.
That's a very tight deal because they are wing forwards and they're center forwards. I picked Haaland.
So it's all encompassing. Wing forward, wide forward, inside forward, center forward. Who was the best forward in the Premier League in 2024? Because
I overlooked Van Dijk in the defense, I will pick Mo Salah as the best forward because
in 2024.
It's just all right. Mo Salah is just there are words that you can use to describe, and then you run out of words to describe how much of a good talent he is and the records he has broken, and the place he's going to find himself in the Premier League all-time 11 and even in the Hall of Fame in the Premier League.
No place for Phil Foden, best player in the league.
I think I will say it again. It might sound controversial, but I think the award he won was popularity vote and a lot of things. I think.
You don't think it was the best player?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was the best.
So
player
if you had the power to choose the best player in the Premier League, who would that be?
For last season, my best player in the Premier League would have been.
Wow. Now you're struggling.
Now I'm struggling. Yeah.
Now you're struggling.
Now I'm struggling. But I would have picked Rodri. I would have picked Rodri.
I was surprised you didn't pick him as the best midfielder
in the Premier League. No, I keep saying, I know I've used this word multiple times today, inevitability, because we know what they are. But I think Cole Palmer's impact just puts in my head and putting everything into context based on where expectation and performance.
Yes, the later part of 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I put, for me, Mo Salah as the best attacker.
And your coach of the year, 2024 in the Premier League? Remember, it's a calendar year.
Yeah. So for me, coach of the year, I think it will be Unai Emery for me. I think the work he has done at Aston Villa, getting them into the Champions League, and I think a remarkable one for him. He came into the club, considering where Steven Gerrard left them, and he got rolling, and everything's looking well for Aston Villa.
All right, from the English Premier League, we'll go to the Spanish La Liga, where Real Madrid did the double, won the league, won the Champions League. It's safe to say that, David, this was the pinnacle of Carlo Ancelotti's career. The amount of injuries he had to deal with, and losing just 2 games in a season. That was fantastic.
I mean, in context is a very beautiful thing in life. It helps you to see things in different perspectives. You look at what that season was. So many managers in that situation would have crumbled. But Ancelotti did what you regard as unthinkable. To think they only lost 2 games all season with the injuries they had to face. 2 centre-backs out, their goalkeeper out. You know, they had right back out for some period in time. Midfielders out, attacker, they didn't have a centre-forward. And they still went on to have that kind of season. I mean, Ancelotti cements his legacy as one of the greatest managers of all time.
Still with Real Madrid, David, Jude Bellingham, what a revelation, what a year he had. For me, the best player in the world.
Yeah, for me as well, he was the best player in the world last year. For me, I completely agree with you. I think best player in La Liga, the impact he had, you need to consider the context that he's still 20 years old. You find it a fantastic year. He stepped into that club. You know, it's easy for a 20-year-old to step into Real Madrid, the stature of that club and shrink. But he came in and he showed that he's the man for the moment. So many big moments in the season. People talk about the fact that, goals and assists, but you cannot, if you want to judge Bellingham only by goals and assists, then you are missing a trick, because he's a fantastic footballer all around, and I think for that reason, best player in the world.
Vinicius Junior, another impactful season for Real Madrid.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we look at, and I remember the Vinicius of early Real Madrid when he first came in, he was struggling to even get goals, get assists. He was inconsistent, and now he has become a real world beater.
Still with the Spanish La Liga, FC Barcelona, it was a not so good end of the relationship for Xavi and Barcelona. It ended acrimoniously, both parties having a dig at each other. Hansi Flick came on board, started like a house on fire, and it feels like Barcelona are back to the Barcelona we saw in the final few months of Xavi Hernandez.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of papering of the cracks were done at the beginning of the Hansi Flick era. They papered a lot of cracks, and I think those cracks have begun to open up again. And it seems like the issues at their club run deeper than what are on the surface. And I think hopefully they'll be able to fix it, because financially they are in a dire situation. And you cannot, continue papering the crowd. La Masia did a lot of work for them with some of the players that came through, but it's not sustainable.
It's time to reveal the best player in La Liga. Let's start with the goalkeeper. For you, who's the best goalkeeper? Or who was the best goalkeeper in 2024?
So for me, I'm going for a very unpopular name, but I'm going for Unai Simon of Athletic Club Bilbao. What a fantastic goalkeeper. If you're somebody who follows the La Liga a lot, you understand what is special about him, and that's why he's one of the top goalkeepers for Spain, the national team as well. Fantastic. His save ratio in the La Liga is one of the very best. I know you were expecting to mention some of the usual names, but Courtois did not have a consistent run of season. His backup as well, Looney, was also, so his 2 halves, they shared it. But for him, consistent all through the year.
Defender?
For me, it has to be Antonio Rudiger, considering the fact he came in from Chelsea on a free, and he has stepped into that club and he has taken his game to another level. At Chelsea, he was a good defender, but he got to Real Madrid and now become a world-class defender.
Midfielder?
I mean, you mentioned that name, but I knew it. I've heard
Bellingham or Cruz. I know you're about to say Bellingham. Bellingham or Cruz?
It's still Bellingham for me. And I'm going to put context again into it. Considering the fact he came into that club for his first season, I think I've not seen a debut season from a player, especially at Real Madrid like this. Maybe I would like to talk about Ronaldo, but even his debut season was not as fantastic as it. For Bellingham, he stepped into that club and became a key figure. At the beginning of the season, was explosive goals, assists that we did not even expect. Then, second half of the season, goes dried up, but his performances remained consistent all season.
Forward of the year?
For me, it's Vinicius Junior. I mean, one more can be said about
him. No Dobbik?
Dobbik, La Liga player, top highest goal scorer. Solo, those were good guys. But for Vinicius, I think he encapsulated everything, both goals, assists, and general play, how important he was to Real Madrid. All
right, there you have it. David has given us the best players in the Spanish La Liga. Don't hold me. If he omitted some of your favorite players, just hold him accountable. Just kidding. We need to go on a short break. When we return, there's more on the show. Remember, this is the new edition of Sports Pizza. We'll be back. Yeah, welcome back. It is still Sports Pizza. Edwin and David still in the building. David, let's quickly run through the Italian Serie A, the Bundesliga. What are your thoughts on the Serie A in 2024. For me, it was exciting. Plenty of goals. Serie A is the new entertainment hub for Europe's top league.
Yeah, absolutely. For those who are only Premier League watchers and feel that the world revolves around Premier League, I think you need to watch the Serie A. The number of goals they produce on a seasonal basis, the last 2 seasons now, they've toppled the Premier League in terms of goals produced per season, and that's a fantastic one for them. You see teams actually play good football. Serie A is no longer the home of all the ultra defensive teams. Even some of the lesser teams are actually playing attacking football, and that's why goals are being produced in here. I'm happy for the Serie A generally.
Also happy for Ademola Lookman, who ended 2024 with the most goals and assists in the Italian Serie A. From the Serie A, let's go to Germany, where Bayern Munich were dethroned for the first time in 10 seasons. Bayer Leverkusen, the first ever league title. Xabi Alonso spearheading this fantastic team. What a year it was. They were almost unbeaten until Ademola Lookman happened in the final of the Europa League.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for those of us who remember Xabi Alonso, the player, to now see Xabi Alonso, the manager, doing what he's doing at that club, fantastic career he's having. And to start your managerial career in this fashion, I think it's a good one for him. For Bayer Leverkusen, you know, we're used to the Bundesliga being our Bayern Munich, and then if Dortmund can find a way to dethrone them once in a while. But Leverkusen came all the way from the brink. You know, they were known as Neverkusen because they were the near misses all the time. Finally, they crossed the line, the final hurdle. Painfully for them, they lost the Europa League final, but I think they have credit in the bank as one of the best teams in the world right now.
Yeah, definitely one of the best teams in the world. And for Bayern Munich, a new manager, Thomas Tuchel, ended his relationship with the club. Vincent Kompany took over after relegating Burnley in the English Premier League. But so far, so good. It feels like they might reclaim the title, but there's still question marks on Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, I mean, those question marks will remain right from the time he got the job. Question marks arose when he got the job, because how did he get the job? What was the criteria for giving the job? But Bayern Munich talked about it. When they were, you know, rejected by almost 12 managers over the course of the summer, they had to settle for, I think we have heard of second, third option, but this was probably maybe the 12th or 13th option, and the goal was available to them. And question marks will arise because he's not the top manager. What would he get there? They will win the league title because they just needed to steady the ship after the Tuchel era. The Tuchel era was blighted not because they were a bad team, but just because the internal fighting, the crisis in the administration of the club. We saw how Oliver Kahn and Salihamidzic had to leave at the end of the season. So a lot of that was there. Company just came in, steadied the noise, and then do well to win the Bundesliga. The Champions League, they may not go all the way because that question mark will remain, but as a team, they will do very well.
Talking about the Champions League, Real Madrid won their 6th title in 10 years. Carlo Ancelotti was the man of the moment once again. We're bringing him up. Can you, in a few words, summarize the magnitude of what Real Madrid accomplished in the summer?
I mean, the Champions League is the pinnacle of club football. You expect the very best of the best performances. This is why Real Madrid have done, you know, the number of titles they've done. And I think for Ancelotti, they went into that season, we talked about the injuries they had at the beginning of the season, but Real Madrid just have an association with this competition where they bring their A game when it matters the most. They are waiting for the moments. In games, you feel that, oh, they'll be taken out, they'll be knocked out, they'll concede a goal, but they just hang in there. And then when the moment needs to arise, they have the players to call upon to deliver those moments. That's why they are worthy champions.
All right, David, let's have your Champions League players for 2024. Goalkeepers, who are you going for?
Yeah, here I can now comfortably call Andre Looney because he was central to everything they did in that Champions League season. In the season where Courtois was out, you know, when he stepped in, crucial saves. I cannot count the number of big saves that he produced all throughout their run to the final and actually winning the title. So for me, goalkeeper of the season. All
right, David, from goalkeeper, let's go to defender of the year.
Defender of the year for me is Antonio Rudiger. You know, he was a champion previously in this competition with Chelsea. To now step into Real Madrid. And one image sticks in my mind, the semi-final against Manchester City, the way he carried Haaland around like a bodyguard, and he escorted him out of the game completely. And those kind of performances, you know, stood him out for the course of the year.
Midfield?
In midfield, has to be Jude Bellingham. I've mentioned that name so many times, but I have a lot of love and respect for the player because of, you know, to step into that club at 20 years old and do what he's doing is just remarkable for me.
And your forward?
It's Vinicius Junior, player of the.
So it's Real Madrid
sweep. They were the champions. A lot of teams did well, but they will just deliver those moments in the Champions League.
No love for anyone from Dortmund who got to the final? punched above their weight.
I would have called Jadon Sancho, but I mean, he was fleeting in moments. But it was key to their run to the final, unfancied run to the final.
Schlotterberg in defense, any case for him?
I think for me, I think their better defender was Matt Hummels. He rolled back the years to provide some very solid performances for them.
Solid season. Matt Hummels. And wrapping up our two-part series of 2024 in review, David, we have to talk about Nigerian players abroad. So we're going straight to the point. Goalkeeper for you.
Yeah, it has to be Maduka Okoye for me. I think we've seen what he has done with Udinese. This is somebody who broke out at some points with Fortuna to the second team in Germany. He looked like an offensive player. He went to Sparta Rotterdam in Netherlands. He struggled, couldn't find his run. Got to Super Eagles call up. People were a lot of question marks. To now find his way to a top 5 league and be a consistent starter for a club like Udinese. And we've seen how good Udinese have been this season. I think for me, the way he's turned his career around, fantastic one.
From goalkeeper, we move to defender. Let's have your name.
One name stands out for me, and that name is Ola Aina. I think generally, fine is a fullback, but defensively, he's as good as they come as a fullback who loves to defend and also offers a lot going forward. Fantastic year he has had.
Midfield?
In midfield for me, unfancied name, you might not like the name, but it's Rafael Onyedika for me for Club Brugge. I think he's somebody
solid midfielder.
In the Champions League as well for Club Brugge, he has been solid for them. You look at how they are performing. He's a good player. When you watch him generally, you know this is the future of Nigeria's midfield. And
the forward is unanimous. Ademola Lookman.
So many names, but one name stands
above the rest. Ademola Lookman. And that is the size of today's show. We've done 2024 in review. Hopefully 2025 is going to be a lot better. Yeah, this is how we sign off 2024. Yes, we're in 2025, but hey, it has been 2024 in review from a sporting perspective. It was a 2-part series and we wrapped up 2024. We're in 2025, we're going to give you nothing but the absolute best in 2025. We're looking forward to the great sporting events coming up. There's the AFCON coming up this year in 2025 for both the women and the men. You have youth competitions. There's tennis, Formula 1. We're looking forward to big things in Formula 1. There's boxing, you name it. 2025 is loaded. Sports Pizza has you covered for the entire year. All right, we'll leave you with our video of the week. You do remember to give us a follow on our social media platforms. David, finally, we made it into 2025, and this year we're going to do big things.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to doing this journey with you. What a fantastic year it's going to be. From David, it's goodbye.
And for me, Edwin Onyebolise, have a wonderful 2025. God bless you.